Sherlock Holmes. The name alone conjures images of a brilliant detective, pipe in hand, solving the most baffling mysteries. His very presence evokes a sense of intrigue and intellectual challenge, a figure who stands as a beacon of logic and reason in a world often shrouded in mystery and confusion. His sharp mind, keen observation skills, and deductive reasoning made him a literary sensation. Holmes could deduce a person's entire life story from a single glance, a talent that left both his fictional clients and real-world readers in awe. His methods, though sometimes unorthodox, always led to the truth, unraveling even the most complex of puzzles. Created by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, Sherlock Holmes quickly captured the hearts and minds of readers worldwide. Doyle, a physician by trade, infused his creation with a scientific rigor and attention to detail that set Holmes apart from other fictional detectives of the time. The character's popularity soared, making Doyle one of the most celebrated authors of his era. Holmes's adventures, chronicled in 4 novels and 56 short stories, became a publishing phenomenon. Each new story was eagerly anticipated by a growing fan base who devoured the tales of mystery and adventure. The stories were serialized in magazines, creating a sense of suspense and excitement as readers awaited the next installment. From the foggy streets of Victorian London to the eerie moors of the countryside, Sherlock Holmes tackled every case with unmatched intellect. Whether it was a jewel theft in the heart of the city or a haunting mystery in the rural expanses, Holmes approached each case with the same meticulous attention to detail and unwavering determination to uncover the truth. His loyal companion, Dr. John Watson, documented their adventures, providing a glimpse into the extraordinary mind of the world's greatest detective. Watson, a former army doctor, brought a sense of humanity and relatability to the stories, his own awe and admiration for Holmes mirroring that of the readers. Through Watson's eyes, we see not just the brilliance of Holmes but also his quirks and idiosyncrasies. The stories, published throughout the late 19th and early 20th centuries, offered readers an escape into a world of intrigue and suspense. They were more than just detective stories, they were explorations of human nature, morality, and the complexities of the human mind. Each tale was a journey into the unknown, with Holmes as the steadfast guide. But what happened when this beloved character met an untimely end? In The Final Problem, Holmes faced his arch-nemesis Professor Moriarty at the Reichenbach Falls. The struggle between the two titans of intellect ended with both seemingly plunging to their deaths, a conclusion that shocked and dismayed readers. The answer reveals a fascinating tale of authorial intent, public outcry, and the enduring legacy of a literary icon. Doyle, weary of his creation, had intended to end Holmes's story, but the public's reaction was overwhelming. Letters poured in, demanding the detective's return. Eventually, Doyle relented, bringing Holmes back to life in The Adventure of the Empty House, ensuring that the great detective's legacy would continue to captivate and inspire for generations to come. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, the creator of Sherlock Holmes, was a man of many talents and interests. His life was a tapestry woven with threads of diverse pursuits and passions, each contributing to the rich legacy he left behind. Born in Edinburgh, Scotland in 1859, Doyle pursued a medical career before finding his true calling as a writer. His early years were marked by a rigorous education, first at Stonyhurst College and later at the University of Edinburgh, where he studied medicine. It was during these formative years that Doyle's inquisitive mind began to explore the realms of literature and storytelling. While his most famous creation brought him fame and fortune, Doyle's aspirations extended far beyond the realm of detective fiction. He was a prolific writer, penning not only the adventures of Sherlock Holmes, but also a wide array of other works. His literary repertoire included science fiction, historical novels, and even poetry, showcasing his versatility and depth as a writer. Doyle was a man of science and reason, yet he also explored spiritualism and the supernatural. His interest in the paranormal was sparked by personal experiences and the loss of loved ones, leading him to become a prominent advocate for spiritualism. He attended seances, conducted investigations, and wrote extensively on the subject, seeking to bridge the gap between the known and the unknown. He wrote historical novels, plays, and even political pamphlets. His historical novels, such as The White Company and Sir Nigel, were meticulously researched and brought the past to life with vivid detail. Doyle's plays, though less well-known, were performed in theaters and reflected his keen understanding of human nature and societal issues. His political pamphlets, on the other hand, showcased his engagement with contemporary issues and his desire to influence public opinion. However, it was the enigmatic Sherlock Holmes who became his most enduring creation, much to Doyle's occasional frustration. The detective's immense popularity overshadowed Doyle's other works, leading to a complex relationship between the author and his creation. Doyle often felt that Holmes's fame eclipsed his other literary achievements, causing him to grapple with the detective's pervasive presence in his life. Doyle, it seemed, felt constrained by his detective's immense popularity. The public's insatiable demand for more Holmes stories left him little time to pursue other projects. Fan letters poured in, and publishers clamored for new adventures, making it difficult for Doyle to focus on the diverse range of topics that interested him. He yearned to dedicate more time to other writing projects he considered more important and intellectually stimulating. Doyle's passion for history, science, and social issues drove him to explore these themes in his lesser-known works, which he believed held greater significance than the detective stories that had made him famous. This desire, coupled with a certain weariness towards his creation, led Doyle to make a decision that would shock the world. In 1893, he decided to kill off Sherlock Holmes in The Final Problem, hoping to free himself from the detective's shadow and focus on other literary endeavors. The public's reaction was one of outrage and disbelief, with readers mourning the loss of their beloved detective. Despite the backlash, Doyle remained steadfast in his decision, determined to carve out a broader legacy beyond the confines of Baker Street. In 1893, after publishing 24 short stories featuring Sherlock Holmes, Arthur Conan Doyle decided to end his creation's life. This decision was not just a fleeting thought, but a culmination of growing frustrations and a desire for creative freedom. The decision, as one might imagine, was not made lightly. Doyle had invested a significant part of his life into Sherlock Holmes, and the detective had become a cultural icon. Doyle had grown increasingly weary of his famous detective, feeling that the stories were limiting his creative potential. He felt trapped by the expectations of his readers and the publishing industry. He expressed a desire to focus on other literary pursuits, believing that his historical novels and other works deserved more attention. Doyle was a man of diverse interests and talents, and he longed to explore them without the shadow of Holmes looming over him. In a letter to his mother, Doyle famously wrote, "I think of slaying Holmes and ending him for good and all." This letter reveals the depth of his frustration and his determination to move on. "He takes my mind from better things." Doyle felt that Holmes was a distraction from his more serious literary ambitions, and he was willing to take drastic measures to reclaim his creative freedom. Thus, the stage was set for one of the most shocking events in literary history. The public was unprepared for what was to come, and the anticipation built to a fever pitch. Doyle crafted a dramatic end for his detective, pitting him against his arch-nemesis, the criminal mastermind Professor Moriarty. This was not just any villain, but a character designed to be Holmes's equal in intellect and cunning. The Final Problem, published in Strand magazine, depicted a climactic confrontation at the Reichenbach Falls in Switzerland. The setting was chosen for its dramatic and picturesque qualities, adding to the gravity of the moment, where both Holmes and Moriarty plunged to their deaths. The imagery of the falls symbolized the end of an era, and the public was left in shock and disbelief. The reaction was immediate and intense, with readers mourning the loss of their beloved detective. Doyle had achieved his goal, but at a great cost to his relationship with his audience. The public outcry was unprecedented. Fans wrote letters to Doyle pleading for Holmes's return. Newspapers were filled with articles and editorials lamenting the detective's demise. It was clear that Holmes had become more than just a character, he was a cultural phenomenon. Doyle, however, remained resolute. He continued to focus on his other works, exploring new genres and themes. Yet, the shadow of Sherlock Holmes never fully left him. The demand for more stories persisted, and Doyle eventually relented, bringing Holmes back in The Hound of the Baskervilles and later stories. The resurrection of Sherlock Holmes marked a new chapter in Doyle's career, blending his desire for creative exploration with the undeniable popularity of his most famous creation. The legacy of Sherlock Holmes endures to this day, a testament to the enduring power of storytelling and the complex relationship between an author and their creation. The public reaction to Sherlock Holmes's death was swift and severe. Readers were devastated. They felt a profound sense of loss, as if a close friend had vanished. Newspapers were flooded with letters of protest, Some readers even donned black armbands to mourn the loss of the beloved detective. The Strand magazine, which published the Holmes stories, lost thousands of subscribers. People felt betrayed by Doyle's decision to kill off their literary hero. The outcry was deafening, a testament to the profound impact Sherlock Holmes had on his readership. The streets of London, where many of Holmes's adventures were set, seemed a little less bright, a little less safe without the watchful gaze of the famous detective. The public's emotional response highlighted the extraordinary connection readers had forged with a fictional character. The years following Sherlock Holmes's demise were marked by a noticeable void in the literary world. Readers eagerly sought a replacement, a detective who could captivate their imaginations in the same way that Holmes had. However, no one could quite capture the same magic. Doyle, meanwhile, focused on his other writing projects, but the shadow of Sherlock Holmes loomed large. The public clamored for their hero's return, their pleas falling on deaf ears. The absence of Sherlock Holmes left a void not only for readers but also for Doyle himself. He may have sought to move on, but the detective's presence lingered. The public's unwavering devotion and the constant demand for more stories eventually wore down Doyle's resistance.